Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today for another episode of Megan and Todd Talk D&D. And today we are changing gears a little bit. We're going to be talking about the spider horse.
Yes, the famous D&D spider horse. Everyone knows about spider horse, and that is why we are doing an entire video about spider horse. So I love you. I love you so much. How did you even find out about spider horse?
I think one day I was looking for really strange D&D creatures, and I came upon Dragon Magazine from 1998, and there are a whole slew of strange creatures, one of them being spider horse.
Yes, and spider horse is I think I remember exactly where I was when you held up your phone and showed me the image of spider horse. It feels I don't want to say like an unnecessary monster, but it is a good example of the creativity that you can have in D&D.
Yes.
And it reminds me of how much I really loved Dragon Magazine back in the day. You got those free adventures, you got these weird monsters, and it was always like something really cool to look forward to with every issue. Spider Horse is coming about after we've done some research because of owl bears. Because owl bears, when you look up owl bears, they literally are an amalgamation of a giant owl and a bear. And this is wizards up to no good, taking one monster here, another monster there, and then combining them as a wizard does.
Yeah, I think owlbear was one of the first combination of creatures that they created, and then from that, they included the spider horse, which was supposed to give wizards an advantage to rough and mountainous terrain.
Yeah, in terms of the lore, there's actually quite a bit of lore for the spider horse in this description. So you are, I would probably argue, other than the creator, is probably the resident spider horse D&D expert.
I'm working on getting my PhD.
Yeah, so tell me
spider
about
horse education.
Tell me about how the spider horse came about.
So wizards, they like to experiment, and they bred a horse with a giant spider. And they soon learned that spider horses could not procreate. They also have a tendency of scaring off horses because of their very nature.
Right.
Horses tend to be a little skittish around them. And because of that, spider horses are very emotionally attached to their wizards. And I just find that very endearing. So I actually created a character in one of our offline games. My friends were nice enough to let me play a character named Aunt Nay, who is a centaur monk. And she has 4 hooved legs and 4 spider legs.
You kind of took the base of the centaur and basically made spider horse.
Yeah, I really tried to work it into a legit character that I could actually play.
You were trying to replicate, with spider horse, you were trying to replicate a couple of key effects. And this is a good example of, I know we tend to want like official content sometimes. Like I want an official bat folk, but I can easily reskin owl folk in Unearthed Arcana to just be bat folk, right? There's nothing stopping me from doing this mechanically. It's a perfectly sound thing to do, so you very much wanted to play Spider Horse as a playable lineage race in D&D, and you made it happen. So you basically took the baseline centaur, and then you gave yourself an uncommon magical item to kind of replicate that magical effect of being able to walk on the ceiling.
That added layer of weirdness. So the spider legs on the spider horse allow the creature to walk on steep hills. But if you want to take it a step further, you can find a pair of boots that allow you to spider climb, or you can become a Dhampir horse. But for me personally, I didn't want to be an undead horse, but I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, that's almost like too many weird things, being an undead centaur.
Yeah, I feel like being a spider horse already and having 8 eyes, you already kind of have that edge.
Yeah. So why do you love spider horse?
It's just weird. It's different. I've never seen anything like it. I don't know why it was drawn or created. I love stuff like this though, and I love the imagination that the people over in D&D have.
What's funny is we started off this one shot where I am playing an older version, a previous like third edition version of my character Averin, and everyone's got their character, and then you you have obviously the weirdest character in the game, but you didn't play it like that at all, and you like immediately captured everyone's hearts, which is I think it's so smart in a lot of ways that you just have this ridiculous character. You have a spider horse playable character, and you just made it this very sweet, kind being.
Well, that's just because Aunt Nay was just looking for more friends. And her wizard keeper said, hey, you can go on in this adventure, and whatever money you make, you can just give it to me, and I can invest it in doing more research about what you are. And because of those adventures, I got to meet a lot of new friends. And back at home in the barn where I live, I have 125 nieces and nephews. They're all spiders. We're not related by blood, but they call me Aunt Nay because I take care of them, and I kind of look like them. And no one makes fun of me because I'm just sweet as pie.
I don't know if we're losing subscribers or gaining them, but like I feel like if we're losing them, we're losing the right ones, and we're gaining the right ones.
That's okay. Aunt Nay will not hold it against you. If this content is not for you, she still loves you just the same.
So, it's very hard for other characters in the game to not immediately be emotionally connected to Spider Horse. Aunt Nay. And then we had like a very normal adventure. No one really brought it up in this one shot, which was hilarious. Like, you're like, oh, I'm a spider horse. And we're like, cool. And let's go on this adventure.
There was a horse in a library with spider legs, and no one brought it up.
Yeah, we just kind of plugged along, which made it like even funnier in some weird way. But yeah, I have an attachment to Spider Horse now that I shouldn't have. That's your fault.
You're welcome.
And now I have memories of Spider Horse. I feel like this is just going to be part of our lives forever, and I think Spider Horse should just absolutely become official content.
I hope it does. That is my hope one day, that this video will just make it to the top, and they'll be like, you know what? We're going to bring that back.
Yeah, let's bring it back. Let's share this video, put it on Twitter, put it on Facebook, put it on, post it. What, is Tumblr around?
I think it's still around.
We need a groundswell of D&D community support for Spider Horse. Vote Spider Horse today with your likes and your retweets. Let wizards know how important Spider Horse is to the lore of D&D.
Please.
I do happen to know that there is some responsibility here. The editor of Dragon Magazine at the time was Chris Perkins. So,
I didn't know that.
This had to have passed by his desk.
I wonder if he remembers Spider Horse.
I don't know. Chris is a font of this D&D lore, and I don't know. But I feel like Spider Horse is memorable.
I feel like this is something that Chris Perkins would be interested in.
Yeah, I'm more curious if he was like responsible on any level for the existence of Spider Horse. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's the backstory for the Spider Horse that I find strange as well. Like they go into a lot of effort to describe this creature.
They kind of make it really lovable right out the gate because they are emotionally attached to
Yeah,
the
they're
wizards. Because they can't make any friends with anything because they're so scary looking.
And there's so few of them, and there's this kind of like weirdly last unicorn vibe
Very
of
much,
like
yeah.
you're the only one of your kind, really, or you might very well be. I can't believe the character was that fun. So.
And I think it's worth mentioning that in combat, spider horses do have a natural weapon, which are their front hooves, which does 1d4 damage, and then their spider legs do. Back then, it's 1d3. I don't know what that translates to today.
Right.
But it's good they have those hooves that do 1d4 in the front because they like to put their best foot forward.
Oh my. What was kind of also like scary about that was the idea that you were playing a monk, and so your flurry of blows, and you were playing an astral self monk as well.
Mm-hmm. As if 8 legs wasn't already enough.
Right. I'm scared. Like, I find hooves to be terrifying to begin with, being hit by a hoof or a spider leg. And then an astral form of that on top of everything else. Just being rapidly, I guess, pummeled to death by a spider horse monk is deeply upsetting.
Yeah, the flurry of blows is a lot of fun because you can flavor it like you use one side of your body to smack your target with 4 legs. Just do.
So this is kind of a good example of you can roleplay just about anything and have a really good time. Mm-hmm. No matter how ridiculous this character seemed, it was a surprisingly normal D&D session, right?
Yeah.
It was fun and great and wonderful.
It was a lot more normal than I thought it was going to be.
We've had weirder. We've had like way weirder sessions with very typical characters.
I think if you wanted to play a Dhampir spider horse,
that would have been.
You could, make
that,
it
that,
a
that would
lot
have
weirder.
gone pretty odd.
Because seeing a spider horse drain the blood out of another creature, that's a lot to unpack.
I feel, there is a case to be made for that, because the Dhampir, you can flavor it so maybe it doesn't drain blood, or maybe you cocoon your target.
Yeah.
And then you do the disgusting spider thing that spiders do, inject it with venom, dissolve it inside of the webbing.
And spider horses do not have venom. They do have webs, but since they are herbivores, they have no interest in eating their prey.
Well, that's
so I
nice.
think it's more of a defense mechanism and just another reason to love them.
Okay. All right. Still
creepy.
Still creepy.
I
still feel like it's creepy.
I would love to talk more about other creatures in this particular Dragon Magazine issue.
You want to tell me about a few more that happened to be in here, because these were all inspired by the owlbear.
So there was a moat cat. You know how cats like moats?
They do, famously. Our cats love water.
They love just swimming around in moats. Mm-hmm. I would have to do a little bit more research on this, but I
feel like there's like a litter box component to that, though. Like, you never want to be in the moat that moat cat likes. I feel like that's getting gross.
It might be a little unsanitary.
Yeah.
For the moat cat.
What other creatures do we see?
There was a duck bunny. It basically just looks like a bunny with a duck bill.
It's such a reference to that old drawing. For some reason, we had that like in school. Like, they're like, look, it's an illusion. Is it a bunny or is it a duck? You can't tell. And so they made a hybrid duck bunny to finally answer those really tough questions.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
There's also the dragonfly turtle, which it appears to be just a regular turtle, and then it has like a dragon that's embedded in its shell.
Right. Okay. Understandable. I believe there was a armadillo elephant.
Armadillophant.
Armadillophant. Yeah, that seems very advantageous. That seems like the most functional out of the batch.
It's a tank. It's already an elephant, then it has armadillo scales on it.
Yeah. Bit tough. Spider Horse is great because it's an all-terrain mount.
Yeah, if you want a horse that's all-wheel drive, you got to go with the Spider Horse.
Yeah, with like a Hemi. Is that still a thing?
It's definitely at least a 3-liter.
Yeah, 3-liter Spider Horse.
It's like how Teslas have 2 engines.
Spider Horse is the Tesla.
It's the Tesla
the
of
D&D
of
multiverse.
Horses.
Yeah,
it's got 8 eyes.
That's great, because that's like those extra cameras. I don't know what's happening right now.
They can help you parallel park.
Yeah. Okay. Any other creatures of note?
Yes. The last one is the venom dog, which looks like a pit bull scorpion hybrid.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
No.
But
I don't want my dogs with scorpion tails. Does it wag it when it's happy?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder if it accidentally poisons things when it's excited.
all the time.
Yeah, well.
Just don't have neighbors or friends over when you're giving your venom dog a treat.
Well, that's our in-depth video on Spider Horse and what they're not telling you about it and why Spider Horse should absolutely become D&D official content. I don't know what books are coming out soon, but I feel like Spider Horse could basically fit into anything official D&D related, right? I mean, like, you can easily shoehorn Spider Horse. I feel like Spider Horse would have done well in Icewind Dale.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I think that would have been a good ad. So
I think that would be a good mount for the gnome squidling.
that's just too much. That's too much weirdness all in one spot.
No, let's
Your
just
gnome squidling on top of Spider Horse.
Lean into it.
That's like a whole adventure with a cowboy hat.
I think that'll be the next episode, turning the gnome squidling into a player character.
Yeah, I can do that. I've done it.
Well, if you've made it this far, everybody, thank you for sticking around and watching this episode of Spider Horse. If you find any other weird creatures that you've turned into a player character, please let us know what you landed on and how you made that work. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.